Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's edition of the London Session Open. Today is July 9th, 2020, and my name is Alejandro Zambrano. I'm the Global Chief Market Strategist with ATFX. We're going to take a look at the markets and see what's going on. You probably already know what's going on. You are probably watching gold prices, and you might even be watching silver. They have been soaring, and you might also be looking at your German DAX positions and thinking what you should do with them, given that new coronavirus cases are increasing in the US. So we're going to talk a bit about that. And of course, if you do have any questions, you do have a chat box to your right, and you can just ask them. Now, what should you spend over the next 10 to 20 minutes with me? Well, because I've been trading the markets for quite a number of years, and I've been doing that quite good. And it wasn't easy for me to find a strategy to work for me, but eventually I did, and now I'm here, and I'm still here. And many of the reasons why I survived throughout the years where I was not making money is because I had a good money management system. We can talk a bit more about that as well. Just put your questions in the chat box, and then we are going to try to address them. In fact, let's see right now if there's anybody in the room right now. And I just want to say good morning to you. If you're there, if you're not there, then you might show up a bit later. Well, Mauricio, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. All right, good. Let's kick off and let's load the screens. All right, so let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about gold. And why do I say fun stuff? Well, because we mentioned gold, and we've been mentioning it for quite some time over the last couple of weeks. You know, I'm like that. When the market is not doing nothing, when it doesn't provide me any interesting pattern, I would ignore it. Now, we still had a few ideas in gold. You might remember we said look to buy here at 1678 for this to go upwards. And then I said if we do take out this level, we can go even higher. Well, we did all of that. We reached the first target, which was inverse head and shoulders. You got it left, right shoulder, head. Took that out, and we still have that ascending triangle pattern there. Now, it was a messy ride. I made a bit of money on it, but I wasn't part of this final little leg. Thankfully, though, I was not lucky, but I was clever enough to get involved in silver, which also had a very good outcome over the last few days. So even though I wasn't part of this little move, I still got some of it via silver. So I'm quite a happy man. So the idea was quite straightforward. You have this ascending triangle. We took out that level and we were going upwards, right? Very straightforward. We reached that inverse head and shoulders pattern. And the problem now is that this market is on steroids. Like, it's a bit like the Bitcoin. You might not know it, but I know it very good because I started my professional career working for a big broker. Actually, I started my professional career already in 2005. I worked like a year for a broker in Sweden, but then I went back to university and completed my bachelor's and my master's. And I completed my master's in economics in 2009. I think it was October or something like that. August, something like that. And then in October, in this period here, that's when I joined the broker Ftse. And I had a short-term system, and it's not too much different to the one I'm sharing with you guys here. And this was a very nice move. We were bullish for most of the move to the upside. And I remember from back then that people go sometimes a bit wild when it comes down with gold. And that's why I'm hoping, and I do think we're going to get a pullback, but you might not get a pullback, but I do think we will get a pullback. Now, just because I think we not might get a pullback doesn't mean you should be going long. That's not why I'm still here after so many years. Because I always try to make sure I have a nice, good risk-reward ratio. Even yesterday, when the market was here, I wasn't sure it was going to come down, and that's why I didn't trade this. I traded silver. I'll show you that in a minute or two. So what's the plan here then? Well, the market's going upwards, obviously, and we want to get involved on a dip. So if we will go down to 1793, then I think people are probably going to be buying, and hopefully 1769 is going to be it. Why are people buying then? There's several reasons, but this one is interesting. Daily deaths in the US. We did a webinar about this, I think 2 weeks ago, when I said the market was heading upwards. So the number of new daily cases in the US were heading upwards. And I said this is going to result into higher cases. I think ultimately we're around 1,000 now, and we definitely ended that downtrend. But my mathematical calculations show that we should already be around 2,000 cases. So you can just imagine what happens when we go up to 2,000 cases. most likely President Trump is going to be under pressure, and because he has been a pro, sort of looking to open up the economy, it might be a backslash for him for the election later this year. So we'll see what happens. But if we go up to 2,000 deaths per day, I think there's going to be a situation where some of these states will be forcing people to just stay at home. That's why it's going up. But maybe it's because people think that they're going to do more QE and more handing out money, which is quite likely if they will be forced to shut down. Because if they be forced to shut down, they're going to lose another 3 months of productivity, and then you have 6 months or so where it's been sort of shut down, and a lot of companies that could have been survived because of a shorter shutdown will probably go bust. So it's a big challenge, and that could be one of the reasons people buying gold. All right, so let's just do a deviation today. We're going to look at silver. So this is silver, and this, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up. So this is all explanation. So this is the major ascending triangle. You can draw the line like that, or you can draw the trend like that. They all give you pretty much the same target, and it does suggest to you that we should probably trade all the way up here to 1988. Now this is so straightforward, and it's one of the stuff I teach in the ATFX and Investing Cube premium course, and that is that take out these highs, and we're probably going to go upwards. It doesn't always work out, of course. It doesn't, because otherwise, it just doesn't always work out. There's certain times where these things don't matter. But you can just imagine, like what happens, like in my case, when you start to build a position around 1844, and now we're going straight upwards. Whatever I made here will cover many, many small losses. And if we would reach target, which we do once in a while, all the way up, that would be a silly good return that will cover sometimes months of losses. But many times we don't go all the way up there. So what's the game plan here then? I think if we can go up to maybe, if we can go to 1950, that would be lovely. I would love that, because that would be giving me the opportunity to probably go out and get a bit of profit on the back of that. Go out with a nice little profit. And then I think if we would come back down to 1871, 1857, I think in this little space, I think people are going to be quite keen on buying just at these two levels here. And then they're going to probably try to push price upwards again. We don't really want to see price come back down again. I don't really think we are going to go back down to those levels. All right, so that's that part. What we added, let's just talk commodities. So these are commodities. This is West Texas crude oil. There's not been too much activity here, and there's no reason to try to push or do anything. If it goes down to 39.35, I think people are going to be buying. I think we're stuck in, it could be that we're stuck in some sort of ascending triangle or like a wedge. So this could be boring for longer. Let me just check here so I'm not talking. Yeah, no, it's good. So it could be something like that. This is usually a bearish pattern by itself, a topping pattern, but I don't really trust these sort of patterns too much. Let's talk about the German DAX then. So the German DAX, when we did the webinar, I think on Monday, we were up here, right? And we said, let's look for that pullback, if I remember correctly. I think, let me check here. Monday was the 6th of, yeah, so we were up here, and we said, look for a pullback. We went deep into the pullback. We reached a little buy area, and then we went a bit deeper. Now we're pretty much above water again, and I'm a bit confused why people are so excited in buying on the back of the bad news we're getting from the US, but they are. So what can we do here then? You can stick with the original view, or if you want to get a slightly better entry, I think you can, maybe if we revisit something maybe like today's low, you might be able to do that. Here's the Dow Jones as well. I think we're trading up here, and we said look for a pullback. We did pull back, and we're in a bit of profit now. It's a bit too early to reduce stop loss orders here. Are there challenges with this one? Yes, of course. We might just be stuck in something like this, and it would not be surprise me at all if we're going to trade sideways for longer, given that we might be getting another shutdown in the US because of the new higher death rates. But for now, I'll remain bullish, treating this separate and ignoring the big picture. For Ftse 100 traders, so Ftse 100, I don't remember exactly what we said here, but we can look at, yes, I remember a few weeks ago we said look to buy here, and then I think we should look for a dip, but I don't remember exactly the levels. This looks more like we're sort of stuck within a wedge of anything, or like a triangle. I don't really have a very strong view here. Anytime I need to think, okay guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. So my computer has a tendency to reboot over the last week or so for no unknown reasons. Sorry about that. Let's move along here though. Okay, good. All right, so we talked about the Ftse 100. Let's take a look now at stock or currency markets. So my general idea with currency markets has been that we would see a lower Euro USD, but lately everybody's just sort of piling in on selling dollars, and that's one of the reasons why gold is up. And what's happening here is that you're seeing the euro trading to the upside. So I was bearish. Unfortunately, this did not work out as many other dollar pairs. And if you can't join them, or if you can't beat them, join them. That's my strategy, and it's just a trend following strategy. So what's happening here is that we have an ascending triangle that broke. I wouldn't get too excited though, but it did move to the upside. In the very, very short term, the trend will remain bullish above the low here from 13.12, and one can sort of get involved here if you want to between 13.30 and 13.12, looking for this to go upwards. But I wouldn't get too excited. I wouldn't. It could be a false move. If you want to not be close to all the price action, then you're looking at 12.57, and then you might say, oh, what should I choose then? Well, if there's uncertainty with you, as I have uncertainty about this, then we don't have to trade. It's as simple as that. If we're still above this level tomorrow, then we can maybe take a decision. Here's GBP versus USD. So GBP versus USD. So you might remember I was bearish for the 125.43, and the idea was to sell. Unfortunately, we took out that trend defining level, and already on yesterday I turned bullish. The price did go lower, but it didn't go low enough to trigger my buy entry, and then we went just upwards, and we're now at 12, just below 26.85, which was my take profit level. So we're closer to the take profit level than to the stop level, which is down here. So the prudent thing to do here is to wait for a little pullback. Of course, you have all the short-term lows, but I wouldn't focus on them. I would just focus on this low here and be bullish between 125.78 and 124.91, and then target the upside again. Here's the dollar versus the Japanese yen. So I had a few entries here, like not few, but we talked about buying here already in the beginning of July, and that worked out fine. We went up a bit, and then we had another little entry here which said if you missed the original one, you want to get involved, this is it. Both are unfortunately now underwater, and the overall market is just trading sideways. There's not a lot of activity here, and it's probably better just to lay low here, but one could be bullish from here. There's no reason to make any changes, by the way. One could be bullish from here and just be bullish about 106.99, but it's a sluggish market. It's not really going anywhere, is it? So it's probably not something that I would focus too much on. Okay, we covered most of the main markets. We still have 5 more minutes. Let's see if you guys have any questions. So we have in the chat today, we have Yusuf. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir, as well. And we have Antonio Jimenez. Good morning to you. Antonio says he's in silver. Let's see where it wants to get to. Yes, let's see if it wants to trade a bit higher. I think that would be great. We also have CM, which is asking what I think about the Aussie stock market. So let's take a look at the Aussie stock market. Let me see if I can load it. Right, so this is the Aussie stock market. I haven't looked at this one for a while. So this is the daily chart. The last really good idea I had was this ascending triangle down here. I traded that for a bit. Now if you're looking at this today, if you flip to a 6 hour, you can see that the market is, if this would have been a bit higher, it would have been another ascending triangle. Fortunately it's not. I have this little trend line going like that. This is, if anything, probably more of a normal triangle than anything else. So what can we do here? We can probably look to, unfortunately we just need to wait. If you are really bullish, and I'm not really bullish anymore, then you could potentially, this is interesting, maybe looking for a move like that, bouncing from that level like that, and just being bullish above something like 57.74. So looking for this to go down a bit, better that risk reward ratio, and then for the price to bounce off from this trend line and trade within the pattern and then go up a bit. That could be something for the Aussie stock market. Okay, let's see if you guys have any more questions. If you're in the chat box, just put your questions in. So obviously we lost some of you guys there with the interruption. Okay, no more questions. We're going to wrap things up. Guys, don't forget to like the video. If you do have any questions for me during the day, let me know. And you are also welcome to follow me on Twitter if you're watching this for the first time at AlexFX 00. I'm going to share that in the chat. You should see it right now. Okay, have a great day, guys. And I'll see you guys early next week on Monday. Might do something tomorrow, but probably I'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye bye.